Hello, Poetry Slammers. This is Dr. Sonny Kelly. Hey, I teach public speaking at Fayetteville Technical Community College, but I'm also a poet. I'm also a performer and a writer. And your leaders have decided to bring me in and give me the honor of sharing with you some key elements, some tips, some tools, some tricks that I've learned to become a better performer and what I would like to say a better connector. The word poetry or poetry or poem comes from the Greek poesia, which means to create. And I know all of you are intelligent and brilliant and bright, and you can create all kinds of new streams and flows and metaphors and similes and figurative language and evocative language and illusions and allusions for people, right? But it's not just about what you can create in terms of what impresses people. I want to challenge you as poets to be creators of community, to reach out into the hearts and the minds of your audience members and create community. Call them in, don't call them out. Express to them what's in your heart and hope that as you share your story and they listen, it becomes our story. I've seen too many poetry slams where people get up there and they're so clever and they're so smooth and they have the same cadence. My name is Sonny. I am funny. Sometimes rhymes with money. And it's like you up there, almost self-aggrandizing, self-ingratiating. Like I'm so grateful for myself. I love myself, but just watch my flow. I'm so enraptured with my own bars that I can't take the moment to honor the people in front of me and make sure they're receiving those bars and that hopefully those bars are edifying, empowering to them, right? So I always say this, nobody cares how much you know until they know how much you care. That's a quote from Theodore Roosevelt. And it reminds me that whenever I'm speaking to an audience, I got to connect to them. So there are three things that I want to make sure you always do when you're delivering, performing, expressing your poetry. And then there are 4 Ds of dynamic storytelling that I want to get into with you today. The first thing I want to make sure you always do is you always land on an actual person whenever you're speaking, eye contact with the people. The second thing I want to make sure you do is that you use your hands to express and to accentuate what you're talking about. And the third thing I want to make sure that you do as we go down the body is plant your feet. Only move with purpose. I've seen too many people they get nervous, they're all over the place, their hands are like, so this is and they do the same motion all the time, or they're just back and forth, or they're pacing, and everybody knows you're nervous, and you're trying to work up the nervous energy, and you're making me nervous as an audience member. So when you get up there, I want you to plant your feet as a tree, rooted in your ancestors, rooted in your creator, the ultimate poet, rooted in those who love and care about you and support you, your team. Do not move unless you want to move. Up the body, know that your hands are weapons. They can hurt, cut, slice. They can also heal and help. If you're not using them, put them down by your side. Don't keep them up like this the whole time, looking all stressed out and nervous, like you want to fight somebody. Don't be at parade rest like you're in the military. Keep them down by your side. Relax. And only use them when you want to make a point. They're great for counting. They're great for pointing to people, for bringing people in. You can do all kinds of stuff. And then moving up to your eyes, you must land on people. When you look around an audience and you just scan the audience and look out into darkness, people know you're not connecting. But when you land on people, even when you can't see them well because of lighting, but you see the form of a person, look at them. Try to share your poetry, your creation into their souls, into their eyes, so you can create community. So remember, eye contact is very, very important. And remember, some of us have RBF, resting bully face. So make sure you're not doing all this and all angry. Now, if there's a moment in your poetry where you are angry and you're expressing that, do that. But make sure you bring it back up so that you can connect to the audience. I don't want to fight with you. I want to connect with you, right? So eyebrows up, connecting with the audience, looking at individual people. If it makes you nervous or throws you off, look at their foreheads. They won't know the difference. But definitely look at people that you know love you and support you in the audience as well. That will fuel you and give you more energy and strength. And that creative energy will continue to create and recreate itself. Down to the hands, always down by the side unless you're using them. And use them often, not too much. Don't try to be all nervous. If you don't naturally gesticulate with your hands a lot, keep them down by your side and just stand strong and share and connect with the people. But it's always a great way to beckon people in, to make a point. You can use your hands in such wonderful ways. And then when you put them down by your side, that contrast between using them up here and down here makes it even more dramatic and creative and fun to watch. But when you're always here and then you do a couple things here, but you're always here, there's not much contrast. And you're just making me nervous and you're looking like y'all tight and tense. Relax. Let that creative energy flow through you. You are a vessel. And those hands come up. I want you to just envision the glitter, the sparks coming off your fingers as you do things and then put those weapons right back into their holsters. And finally, your base, your core, your trunk of your tree, solid, strong. You don't move unless you want to move. When you're ready to move, if you move back, it's because you want to make a point. I was attacked, and then you come back into the space, but you never just kind of come back and then forward. This right here is a movement of weakness. When I back up, it's because I'm scared of you. I'm not sure what I want to do. No, I'm sure of what I want to say. I am a creator. When I back up, it's on purpose. It's because I see something. I want you all to see the vision, the view. I'm backing up to take a look at it. I'm engaging and interacting with you. I'm using the space to create a place of creativity with the audience. So if my feet start moving because they want to, and I haven't told them to move, I stop them. Stop. Make your point. Connect to a person. Tether yourself to that person around the room. Remember, left, center, right, never just one person. Look at people around the room. Change your eye contact, your gestures, and even your movement based upon your points, right? And as you move, you're moving on purpose. You're landing on a point, then you get to where you want to go. You never back up. It's a movement of weakness. You never turn your back to the audience unless it is for dramatic effect. You always stay squared up and open with them. Move laterally, but not back and forth unless you're making a specific dramatic point. So I'll share with you, whenever I speak to young people, especially, I tell them that my name is Professor Ready. That's my stage name. And I always go into this particular poem that I wrote just for my audience. You see, the R is for the radiant rhymes and rhythm that I give. The E is for the effervescent energy and excellence with which I live. The A is for the awesome ability abounding in you and me. The D is for the darkness destroying dream developer that you see. And the Y, that's easy. The Y is for you. You, and you. See, making you ready motivates me. You see how I just turned a poem, basic, not super great, not super creative, just a little something, into a performative piece. But most importantly, I turned it into connective tissue between myself and the audience. And hopefully, as they laugh and sigh together and snap together, they're creating connections between each other. So poesia means to create. You're not just here to create good art and be clever. Anybody can do that. You're here to build community through your poetry. So please endeavor to do that. Pray and meditate on doing that before you get up there. Tell your eyes, tell your hands, tell your legs what to do and move with purpose. All right. The next element I want to get into is the 4Ds of dynamic storytelling. So the 4Ds of dynamic storytelling is something I've developed over the years. In all of my years of doing storytelling and performing and acting, I realized that the stories that people really listen to, that they draw into, that make them cry and laugh and really love the poet and love the poetry and want to carry on this legacy of the story, always have four key elements. So these four key elements, I'll tell you first. You can write them down, and then we'll talk them through. The first one is destination. The second one is details. Third one is drama. And the fourth one is dialogue. Destination, details, drama, dialogue. See, I'm using my hands. Destination, details, drama, dialogue. And if I want to move with it, I say destination, details, drama. And what's the last one? Dialogue. See, I'm moving with my words. That nervous energy that I feel can just move and be channeled through my emotions when I orchestrate it because I'm in charge of this vessel. Yeah? Yeah. Even now, I'm a little nervous because I'm on a video. I don't want to make up a bunch of mistakes. I don't want to take multiple takes. I'm like, I got to get it right, get it right. And I care about y'all, right? I'm even noticing this shirt hanging up in my office. Like, that's not a good look. But that's not what matters. I can use this energy and even make fun of myself and adjust in a way that calls y'all in, right? So, the first D, destination. A man named Stephen Covey wrote a book called The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And one of those 7 habits is to begin with the end in mind. To begin with the end in mind. That's the second habit, actually. The first habit is be proactive, happen to life before life happens to you. And the second one is begin with the end in mind. If you're going to tell a joke, know the punchline. If you got a story, why are you telling a story? If it's just to tell everybody how you can riff and flow and you got bars and look, oh man, look at that rhyme I made. That's cute. But what's your point? Art without a point, in my humble opinion, is pretty but useless. I'll say it again. Art without a point is pretty but useless. You're creating a space to brag. I don't want to hear what you have to say about how great you are and how many bars you got. What are you doing with it? Are you inspiring me, encouraging me, challenging me, calling me into community? You should be doing one of those things or all of them in your poetry, right? So, destination. I want you to know and repeat to yourself, why am I telling this poem? What do people need to know about it? How do I want my story to become our story in a way that makes my community better, stronger, more empowered going forward? So know what your destination is. Be able to articulate that. Before you leave today, talk to each other. Hey, these are my destinations, and stay true to those. Set your compass before you even get up there. Let it drive your face, your eyes, your hands, your body, and your words, of course, as you flow forward. Second, details. People are always drawn into details. If you're a reader, of your favorite books and novels, what you really love about them or what draws you into them is those details at the beginning. They never say two people met each other, they fell in love, got on the train, fought in the war, came out, he died, she was sad. No, they say the dew dripped from the leaf. Her eyes caught the light and got a glimpse of him. Whatever. You see all these beautiful little details that draw you in, and they're so artful. And that's part of what the poet and the writer can do is they can take these details that seem mundane and really put meaning to them and create this beautiful, beautiful picture. Every word, every detail is a brush stroke, right? In this work of art that you're creating. So tie into those details. I like to use dates and times. I talk about Freddie Gray in my work and how on April 19th of 2015, he died, and he died at 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. He was in a coma for 6 days, and doctors said that the cause of that coma was forceful trauma. So I looked up and I researched the specific terms because I'm looking at my son in the back seat, who was 7 at the time, another black boy. Freddie Gray was a black boy when he was a kid, and I'm thinking, wow, could my son have ended up like Freddie Gray? And I'm having this moment of reckoning. So I developed a piece of poetry that tries to call community into the talk that I had to have with my son. But I draw them in with those details. It was Sunday, April 12th, when he was arrested. It was Sunday, April 19th, at approximately 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time when he died, right? He was in Baltimore, West Baltimore. Those details draw us in. So honor the details. Don't just poo-poo them or don't just like spit them out and keep going. Honor and land on those details. Maybe you land on with your feet on those details. It was Sunday, April 19th, at approximately 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, when Freddie Gray left the earth. Right? Take your time with that. Details are crucial. So when you got the destination, you know what your point is, you got your details. And I want to make sure you allow yourself to feel the drama. Sometimes we flow so well, we get into this flow, we forget that we're part of the scene. And so we almost set ourselves up as poets to be the third party omniscient narrator. So this happened, this happened, this happened. I'm good. I'm over it. I'm strong. I'm having a good time. But let yourself feel. If your lip quivers, if you need to pause and take a moment and feel that pathos, as we say in the Greek, that feeling of passion, of actual human emotion, let it flow. If the audience laughs, don't run over their laughter. Honor their moment where they need to laugh or gasp, or if you hear them sniffling and crying because you said something, just take a moment and feel that with them. Don't try to say, well, I got to get through this poem. I got to get. Now, if you have a time limit, stay with your time limit, but don't keep rolling through and let yourself roll over these opportunities to connect with them emotionally and to let that pathos, that drama flow through the room. So as you say things that are funny, as you say things that are surprising or that are lamentable or tear-jerking, let those feelings hit you. You know, people say, oh, you hit me in the feels. Let yourself be hit in the feels. Take a moment, let your body feel. Back up a little bit if you need to. That's a good time to back up. Hit me. And get right back into it. And let everybody be there with you on this road. When you share your poetry, you don't have the privilege or the luxury to sit up on Mount Olympus and say, I'm bringing this beautiful poetry to you, and you will honor it and snap it out and say, speak poet, yes, poetess, and I will be celebrated. No, you have to put skin in the game. You may or may not like this poem, but it's from my heart. I'm going to share it with you. I'm going to get down there with you, get my hands dirty, because this is a contact sport. My heart, my mind, my soul will be with you as I share this piece, and I'm hoping and I'm praying that as I share my story, you will hear it, respect it, honor it, love it, and maybe love me a little bit so it can become our story. And I know the whole time you might not. You might think it's the wackest thing you ever heard. You might not be able to relate. And that's the definition of love. Putting skin in the game and showing up and showing your vulnerability and hoping they love you back, knowing they don't have to. And don't assume that they will just because you're skilled. It's not what this is about. So the drama, vulnerability, being open, sharing how you feel about things, letting the audience feel, crucial. Timing and breath. Take pauses instead of or just take a pause. That lets audience members know, hey, he's feeling something. Hey, there's a moment here, and he's not going to try to feel it and try to look clever. Just breathe. You can't remember what you're going to say? Take a moment. Instead of looking all up in the sky to try to find it, that makes it obvious that you forgot your space or you went up and you choking. Just you let your body move. Work it out. Look at them. You don't have to narrate. Oh, it's gonna come to me. I forgot. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. No, you have to narrate it. Just and if you forget the final part, just feel it and say whatever comes to your mind and close with them and be there. You know where you end, know where you start, know where you end. Back to begin with the end in mind, right? Destination. And finally, dialogic. And I've been talking about that this whole time. You should always be engaged with your audience. You should be able to read the room. If they snap it out, feel that with them. Enjoy that. If you can have a call and response, which is part of the African and African tradition, especially in my storytelling, I do call and response all the time. It calms me down. It also draws the audience in and gets them on my side. So whenever you can have call and response and be like, hey, A, B, C, D, and they're like E, F, G, man, you get the audience on your side in that way. It calms you, but it also activates that poesia energy. You're creating community because they're hearing each other do it as well. So they're connecting to each other. They're connecting to you. And they're like, man, I love this poet. I don't know why. Because you came to create community. Because you're doing poetry on purpose. Yeah. So that's what I would call the session, poetry on purpose, and performing it in a way that is powerful. I hope this has been helpful to you all. God bless you. And thanks again to your leaders for bringing me in.